Hey dudes and dudettes, let me ask you something. Do any of you have a favorite, reliable childhood mall? What do I mean by reliable? It's the kind of mall you depended on to recenter your week or month. A mall you could just go chill out at and clear your mind, maybe with friends or family, and an orange Julius in hand. That kind of a mall. Well, since you clicked on this video, you can already surmise that Palm Desert Mall was one of those malls for me. You see, me and my family lived in Boringsville, USA, and by that I mean Joshua Tree, California. That's me holding the sign there as a kid. Don't get me wrong, the national park nearby can be beautiful, but growing up here in the 80s was a different experience altogether. My dad worked at the nearby 29 Palm Space, and if any of you grew up at or around base housing, you know the struggle against boredom is real. The best we had was going down a slip and slide that landed on sand and small rocks at the bottom of a hill. However, on occasion, we would head out to the shops at Palm Desert, or as we called it, the Palm Desert Mall. Now, it was quite a bit different back then, as you can see. It even had an ice skating rink and a rare video game arcade called Yellow Brick Road. It was fantastic, and some people think I'm crazy when I say there was an ice skating rink in this mall, but it was there. Video and mall map evidence confirm it. It was also just so refreshing walking in from 100+ degree weather to be instantly hit with that ice cold air, the smell of your favorite mall food, which is still there, and just enjoying the hustle and bustle. People watching was always fun for a couple of minutes before heading to your favorite store. There were so many sights and sounds, flags and planners everywhere, the smell of fresh made clothing as you walked into the Gap or Esprit. Do you remember Esprit? Am I even saying that correctly? That's how I said it growing up anyways. Of course, you had your Sam Goodies and your Suncoast sliding the halls with 1980s neon. So few malls have neon anymore. What's up with that? Anyhow, that's enough reminiscing about the 80s version of the mall. As you can see, it was quite the place back then, and I loved how colorful it was. Fast forward to 1999, and I still went to this mall with my friends. Traveling from where I lived in Utah back to the Palm Springs, Palm Desert area was a nostalgic treat. We also got a drive in my friend's parents' Lexus with a sunroof open, listening to Robbie Williams' Millennium on the CD player. We'd stay out late and sleep in till noon. We spent a lot of time cooling off in the pools all over the desert, chatting with babes, that kind of thing. It was really an oasis. My friend even skateboarded into his dad's pool sometimes. How 1990s of him. And to top things off, we would head over to the mall to grab a bite and watch a movie at the theater towards the back of the mall. The theater has been called different names over the years, but I have a really fun memory of hanging out with my friend, his sister, and I think her boyfriend at the time, watching Austin Powers 2 upon its release. There wasn't a care in the world, and I really miss that feeling. You know, that special feeling you get inside?
Sorry. I farted.
Oh, I didn't say Austin Powers 2 was an exceptionally good movie, but it just reminds me of carefree times, that's all. Yeah, that movie was actually messed up on some levels. Fast forward another 2 decades, just coming out of the pandemic, me and my family visited here with my wife's mom. We went to the mall simply to check out the shops, smell the soaps at Bath & Body Works, and get a hot dog on a stick with my boys. That kind of thing. And you know what? It's still a great experience, even if the mall looks quite a bit different nowadays. The staples are all here. We also came back here in 2024 to get this footage before the mall gets completely overhauled. And that's probably why many of you clicked on the video. You want to know what's going to happen with this mall. Well, long story short, it has new owners and they are going to make a lot of changes. Now, it's important to note that whenever a mall is taken over like this, new changes are almost always announced, but that doesn't necessarily mean they will follow through. But as in the case of places like the Main Place Mall, or my teenage mall in Ogden, Utah, which was completely demolished, or many others like the recent one we covered in Logan, Utah, where they tore the entire thing down for an apartment complex, I could go on. But what I'm saying is, maybe we should take those plans more seriously. I think it's easy to say that I'm going to miss this mall. Sometimes malls get so gutted and remodeled as to become completely unrecognizable from their former selves. I barely recognize this newer design compared to the one in the 80s. And after what I've read about the latest plans for this mall, the mixed use space, outdoor green areas, and even new housing, well, it sounds like a total makeover. Typically, I'm not a fan of merging apartment housing with malls. I know developers think it will drive more business, and maybe it does at first, but it usually cuts into a lot of the shopping mall footprint, and typically the neighborhood in the area starts to see rises in crime, spray painted walls, trash all over, that kind of thing. But sometimes it works out, so here's hoping. At any rate, I wanted to document this version of the mall before it's gone, and I hope you can understand why I wanted to take you on this little tour. I'll go ahead and let you enjoy the rest of this video, free from my narration, to take in the sights. And I hope you all have a totally radical day.
That was some seriously good nostalgia. But remember, friends, it's also important to make new memories with your loved ones.